All right, what's up, everybody? So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment, is that I want to actually start reviewing new episodes for anime when they release straight away over on my YouTube channel. Of course, I react to these shows like Spy Family and Jujutsu Kaisen right now over on my Patreon. You can go and check it out there. I have been checking out all basically 10 episodes of the second season of Spy Family already. But like I said, the review parts, I can do them separately, also upload them to YouTube, so you can hear my thoughts straight away if you aren't able to check it out over on the Patreon, right? So yeah, that's just gonna something I'm gonna be starting off with here. But so we just came off of this episode, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic, honestly. Last episode already was, with sort of the conclusion, you could say, to the cruise ship arc, right? This was essentially aftermath, and even aftermath to the aftermath, you could say. But nonetheless, just the it was the type of slice of life episode that Spy Family has already shown us a couple of times, but I feel like it was so well deserved after this streak of crazy episodes that we just came off of, going on the crazy cruise ship arc that we did, fighting all the assassins and stuff, right? Yeah, that this just, I mean, literally all the activities that we saw Lloyd, Anya, Yor do there, right? Like going to the cafe here, as we can see, they went on this swing with a net beneath it. They went spelunking into the caves, and even the sheep they showed up here looking like Bond, as Anya put it there. Super wholesome. Also, something that I really appreciate about this episode is actually sort of the upgrade that we got to a classic shot that Spy Family is so known for, right? Ever since the first episode of this show, we saw that shot of like Lloyd walking around with a sleepy Anya on his shoulder. I think we might have seen it a second and maybe even a third time throughout the show. And now this time around, you know, like Yor, of course, fell asleep as well, literally as they were walking there through the streets. And so now Lloyd was actually forced to walk with the both of them on his shoulders in the same way, as we can see here. Just great how they're doing that, how they're making everything go full circle. And of course, it kind of tells you about the progression that we've seen in the relationship, right? I mean, you could say, and this has been the main criticism for Spy Family all this time, is that there hasn't been necessarily enough development. And I will say that I actually agree with that. I think especially in terms of the main storyline at the school, right? Anya getting her stars, Anya trying to get close to Damien, and Lloyd going after Damien's dad in particular. This is something that, 35 episodes in right now, we still haven't seen that really develop to something meaningful, you could say, right? But that being said, what we are seeing more is that the family is getting closer. And it's an obvious consequence of the events that these characters were no doubt going to be going through. You know, from the start, we've been able to figure that out, right? It started as a pretend family, but I think I'm pretty sure that in the very first episode of the show, I already said, sure, it might start off as a pretend family, but it's gonna basically grow into a real family, right? And that's exactly what happened. And we saw Lloyd even actually coming to that realization for the first time in the previous episode, which was nice to see. Yor in the cruise ship arc now got a little, preoccupied, of course, with her mission, and therefore she couldn't focus too much on her family, but she felt sorry about it, right? And she realized that everything that she's doing is essentially for her family, and her family means both Anya and Lloyd, but of course it also means Yuri, right? Basically, she was talking about how I'm doing this to protect everybody around me, making the world a better place, getting rid of the bad guys in that world is actually going to allow for the people that I care about to live a more safe life, right? So all in all, I very much just appreciated the first 8 minutes, 10 minutes maybe or so of the episode, when we did just sort of see that aftermath and a real slice of life, well-deserved time spent together that Lloyd, Yor, and Anya actually, got during this episode. Now, then, of course, we go back actually, to some of the characters like Yuri, also, of course, Yor's colleagues there, not all too relevant and important, I feel. But I really liked the title of this episode was already called Bragging About the Vacation, partially, right? So I expected Anya's obviously going to be showing off to all her friends, to Becky and to Damien, about what she did. She even came up with these scenarios in her head of if I talk to Damien about this, he's really going to appreciate me for this. He's going to love well, he's gonna love to want to see me come over, I guess, right? And therefore actually have me make progress in that mission. But of course, things actually panned out a lot differently. So Anya tried to essentially show off about all of this, but none of her friends, I guess, at the school were really that impressed, because they all come from very, of course, rich backgrounds. We know that with Becky, of course, who had this like personal, didn't she have like a butler or something, or she had a person driving, Anya and Becky around when they went shopping for the clothes, right? Even Damien, of course, with his political high status family that he has, all of them basically mention like, oh, you slept in the third class on the ship? Well, we actually went first class ourselves in the past already. They kept talking about all kinds of crazy things that they had already done before. So it got Anya to just feel super demotivated in the end by it, which, obviously sucked to see. But that being said, I mean, I'm sure that she'll find a different way to carry on making progress in terms of getting closer to the people around her at the school, right? And so we'll have to wait and see what that's exactly going to look like. I mean, maybe it will simply come down to getting those stars. I'm actually blanking out on what the real term for it was, because it wasn't just stars, right? But you get what I'm saying. She needed to earn, I think, 8 of them, if I'm saying it correctly, to have Lloyd be able to attend those meetings and stuff with her. But that being said, what I will say that I found very relatable about this encounter in itself is that anybody who's gone to primary school, which will be literally everybody watching this, will know that this is exactly how these type of situations would play out, right? When you're young like that, you love showing off, you love bragging about certain things. And even I would remember that when my own classmates would bring up particular stories, I would actually sort of believe the most crazy, bizarre things. Like I remember, as silly as it sounds, right? But like I remember that when I had to make a choice for which high school to go to, there were like a couple of them that I could choose out of. And a friend of mine at the time was telling me that like there was this one high school where they would have these vending machines with candy in them and everything there would be free. And seriously, that's the thing that convinced me to pick that particular high school when I was that age, right? It goes to show you, when you're young, when your brain is completely underdeveloped, you just believe all kinds of stories. Now, I will say in this case, of course, the classmates weren't necessarily that impressed. But these are just typical things that go on and that I liked. I like how the show does such a great job at understanding the way kids behave, the way they view the world so differently from everybody else, right? It shows that the author of this particular show, which I've actually looked a little bit up about him, or some people told me that he's not even necessarily the most passionate about Spy Family, interestingly enough. He kind of, came up with the idea as a last-ditch effort because he's been trying to make it in the world of manga, with all kinds of different stories before, but they never really were the successes that he aspired for them to become, which was kind of unfortunate to read about, I will say. And then Spy Family was kind of like, oh, he came up with a concept that he knew would be unanimously liked by, people all around the world, I guess. And of course, that's exactly what happened. So it's interesting because he was actually, how should I put this? He was justified in those assumptions. Almost sadly enough, you could say. I mean, I like the show a lot, so I wouldn't want him to quit, obviously. I want to see it all through, and I'm sure that he will. But that being said, I hope, therefore, that the author will also be able to find maybe success with a next show that he does, just because he's made a name for himself. Now, I definitely will be, on the lookout to see what he does next. But that being said, talking about just the relatableness of certain scenes, right? Not just there with the classmates, but also by the end there. I thought this scene was absolutely fantastic with Anya coming home, Lloyd, Yor, obviously Yuri being there now too. Yuri's super excited because obviously, Yor is back, and so he was completely over the moon, and all his colleagues could already tell what he was so happy about, clearly. But that being said, Anya actually admits to them that she'd been lying and making things up to her classmates just to big herself up, I guess you could say, right? And then they all keep telling her like, yeah, you definitely shouldn't lie about, anything. That's a bad thing to do. While in the meantime, we see all 3 of these characters holding certain things back or lying as well, right? I mean, Lloyd couldn't actually wait to tell her how she should have done it in a better way. to mask up a certain lie or whatever, right? Yuri is actually holding back from from basically saying where he works, right? All just to protect his own sister in Yor. And then Yor herself obviously not giving anything away about the mission that she just went on herself. So that realization, I mean, Anya herself is a telepath, but she can't say anything about it, right? She's just witnessing this in the moment, realizing that all these three characters are lying to her while telling her not to lie. And so it goes to show you who actually might be the most mature person in this group altogether. So all in all, this was an absolutely amazing episode of Spy Family. I really enjoyed it. The whole cruise ship arc has definitely been knocking it out of the park. It's not like we've been making the most progress in terms of that actual storyline, right? This really has been a sidetrack, but nonetheless, it's been a really entertaining one, I feel. And so I have to wait and see what the last two episodes are going to bring now. I'm guessing that they will actually be sort of setting up for us, what to expect from season 3 and whatever is going to be, coming down the line. We'll have to once again revert our focus on that actual main mission. Eventually, you'd have to think, right? But will we actually be doing that straight away? That's kind of going to be the question for now, I guess. Of course, there will also still be a movie coming up, apparently this month. But that's going to be something else or something new entirely. Something that people who haven't read the manga don't even know what the movie is exactly going to bring, because it's like completely original material. So that'll surely be something to look forward to as well. Although I'm hearing that maybe it's not going to be possible to check it out for us outsiders yet anytime soon, because they'll have to translate it first and stuff, and it might not be on Crunchyroll straight away, for example, streaming platforms. So it might still be a while till we get to see that ourselves. But that being said, lots of exciting stuff to look forward to in Spy Family. I hope you all enjoyed my review here to this episode. Let me know in the comments if you did. Let me know if you kind of like this idea for me to start doing this with like new shows. So I plan on actually doing this then for the remaining episodes of Spy Family, also for Jujutsu Kaisen, which still is going to have 3 episodes coming up, and any new type of anime that comes out that's very popular that I'm going to be checking out, I might be doing something similar for. Of course, if you did enjoy this and you want to see my actual reaction to the episode, you can do so straight away over on my Patreon page, which is going to be linked on top of the description. Over there on the lowest $5 tier, you can support my channel, you can watch my reaction to the episode, as well as all the other, the complete 10 episodes of this season that I've released so far will be up there, all for you to check out just on the $5 tier. So that's all that's required for you to be able to see them there. Your support is, of course, very much appreciated and allows me to make these videos in the first place. But then with that being said, I want to thank you all a lot for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you back in a next video.